A new report shows Texas beaches may not be very clean. The reason for that, fecal contamination. That is according to the latest analysis of bacteria testing from the group Environment Texas, which found 55 Texas beaches were potentially unsafe for at least one day last year. Joining us now to give us some insight is Luke Metzger, who is the Executive Director of Environment Texas. Luke, thank you so much for being here. We do appreciate that.
You bet. Good to be on.
You know, as unappealing as this subject matter might be, can you tell us about what is causing this high amount of fecal contamination on some of our beaches?
Well, there's a few sources of the contamination. One is raw sewage coming from aging wastewater and sewage systems. For example, in the cities of Houston and Corpus Christi are currently under a federal consent decree for violating the Clean Water Act by having sewage overflows too often. And so that happens when there's a heavy rain event. It can overwhelm the sewage system, and raw sewage can flow into our streets, into our creeks, and then ultimately go into our beach water. Another source is, animal waste, people not picking up dog poop, and then also manure from factory farms that can find its way into waterways.
Luke, with that bacteria on our beaches and in our beaches, how many people are getting sick while they're going on vacation?
Yeah, federal health experts expect that every year more than 57 million cases of people getting sick due to exposure to contaminated recreational water. And that is, people getting gastrointestinal problems, vomiting, diarrhea, and sometimes so severe that you could go to the emergency room for it. And so it's a very serious problem and critical that we protect people from this pollution.
That all begs the question about what a solution might be. What can the state do to better address this?
Well, one good piece of news is that the bipartisan infrastructure law that passed Congress a couple of years ago increased significantly funding for clean water around the country. Texas is getting an extra $80 million to invest in upgrading aging wastewater infrastructure. So that's a good step, but the need is far greater. And so the state needs to invest more, and the local governments need to invest more in cleaning up this infrastructure. We also do need to do more to stop the pollution at the source, whether it's the factory farm or the urban runoff, the dog poop. And there's a lot of things that we could do in terms of improving our development standards to create buffers that prevent the pollution from going into the creeks and the waterways in the first place.
We will leave it there for this afternoon, but Luke Metzger with Environment Texas, thank you again for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you.